Hello and welcome to another Wanda's Workbasket on a Tea and Talk Tuesday. Today I'm catching you up on my work in progress with, let me see, I'm going to zoom you out here. The, kind of like the Advent calendar way of picking which section we're going to do. I'm doing the challenge with 4 kids at 147 and with Rebecca. And I wanted to show you again. I only got 4 sections done so far, and today's the 8th, so I have 4 more to do. Don't mind the background. This is the one I am working on. It's not a mystery as some of the other paintings are, but it's from Pretty Neat Creative. Sorry for messing around here. It's from Pretty Neat Creative. Feel the beauty in diamonds. Yes. So, okay, I'm going to zoom you back out and set you up so that you can work along with me on this June 2021 day. Okay, hang on. Okay, divas, I'm going to try something a little new today. I have new glasses that I'm going to show you. I know you can get them from a bunch of places. I think I got mine from like Home Craftology. They are ones with like a magnifying lens on them and also a light that are big glasses, big heavy things. They are a little heavy on my nose, I have to admit, but if they work well, I can really get the things clicking in place here. I'm on day 5, even though when you see this it'll be day 8, but I do need a few things. I do want to talk to you about a few things while we're playing around here. This is one of my favorite pens because it has my name on it, and I did on a What's in Wanda's Workbasket Wednesday, I did unwrap that, so all the information for that will be there. I am working with squares, and yeah. I wanted to tell you I'm getting ready for a flea market. Now, I don't like to usually do them, but it's for my church, so I will do that for my church. It's $20 for table, which I think is fantastic. There are some things, though, that I need to talk to the person who is running the program that need to be adjusted from a craft person's point of view. Specifically, having only a half an hour to set up and a half an hour to take down. Having to bring absolutely everything with you, tables, canopy, everything. We will be outside, our own, whatever we're going to eat and drink, and there will be some kind of trucks out there, but basically we're on our own for all that. Wow, there's a wicked shadow on this, isn't there? Yeah. I'm not sure you can even see it right. Yeah. And I mean, they're giving us a nice big space, don't get me wrong on that, but it's just, and you know, they're only charging $20, not a % of sales or anything. I don't usually make a whole lot at these things. I do it for the love of doing it and to meet people who are also in love with the craft. But I don't necessarily do them for money. Now, because I sold some, I had some leftover 31 bags. They're a really rugged, sporty type bag. And it's a direct sales, you know, multi-level marketing thing that I did a while back. So I had some demonstrating bags that I never really used that didn't go with my natural color scheme. So I sold them for like really cheap prices at the last one I did before Christmas. Come on, stay sitting in there, please. Oh, you go down here. Oh, and I'm using a rocker, a rounded tip for the 4-placer, because it really does, when I'm working on a flat surface, it really does help. At the moment, though, since I have it propped up for you to see, it doesn't help me as much. I don't think I'm going to do this the same way next time, because I'm really stretching to get things in right here. Anyway, I sold one painting kit there to a fellow craftsperson, and I don't know, I think she almost she was sitting across from me, and I think she purchased it just out of sympathy, but and because she loved the craft. I hope she really did like the kit. Beyond that, I had lots of things framed. I had a purse, I had some pictures, I had what else did I have? Bookmarks and journals and all kinds of things out there. When I make a mistake like that, I just push them over. This is hard to see, guys. It really is from my angle. I may even switch in the middle. You're not guys. I don't like to call you guys. You're divas. Because you're so good at what you do. All of you are divas. And right now we're diamond divas. As far as crafty divas. So I just wanted to let you know that's my flea market experience from this past December. Now, it was still COVID. People did not have the shots yet. We were still wearing masks. And, what the heck, stay there. That's it. I have too much wax on that. Now, I don't know, since it'll be outside, I don't have to wear a mask outside for this coming one in July. And this is June, so about every day or every other day I'm making a whole set of keychains because they sell the best. I have kits. Oh, I made fridge magnets that are also needle minders, cover minders, and I have a whole bunch of them. Now, I've never sold those before except on my Etsy shop, so on Wanda's Workbasket Etsy shop. Crocheted flowers and with antique buttons and bling, of course, our diamond bling around the edges. I think they're beautiful. So I'm eager to see how they are liked. I'm eager to see if you all like them too. If you go up to my shop, and even if you're not in a position to purchase, and I completely understand that, if you're not in a position to purchase, maybe you can make a comment somewhere along the line that, oh, these are really cute, or whatever you think about them, or they're too big and bulky, or I mean, they're all lightweight, because I don't want to be mailing heavyweight things in the mail. And they're all unique. I didn't use a pattern or anybody else's design to do it. They're all my own unique idea. I may have gotten the crochet pattern for the flower, but everything else that I attached to it and colors and all that other stuff I did on my own. So there are a number of different colors, combinations. One is a tiny little bunny on a flower. I love that one. My mom thinks it's real cute too. I will be sending, I will be sending some of my favorites out to some of my favorite YouTubers to thank them for their content and for helping all of us along who are still newbies at all this. Well, I'm not newbie at diamond painting, but I'm newbieing at YouTubing. as you can probably tell with every video. But I think I'm getting a little bit better each time. What do you think? I hope and pray that I'm getting better each time. Now, yes, there is noise pollution in the background because there are trucks and buses going by. And I'm at my home, of course. And I can't help that. I might go back out to the sunroom at some point, where my granddaughter and I like to do ours together. More tea. So that's the big thing that's coming up, and I'm getting ready for. I liked Rebecca's, the way she did her nice and neat storage of drills in a box with dividers. I got some boxes, some foldable boxes at a scrapbook, not a scrapbook, like a trading card supply, magazine supply place for collectibles. I got, they're long. I got them for the tall cards, and I'll show you them in another video. So, I've been putting my unused drills away. I do have plans for those things too, and I hope to show you some of the things I make from them. I'm going to see if they sell too at the flea market, because you can put a picture in some of them, some light up from behind, some, you know, all kinds of fun things. I gave a tissue holder that I've done with you gals, with you divas. I gave one to my, to my son's girlfriend. She liked it, so, and it was very colorful, and she's such a joyful person, so that's why I gave it to her. I was hoping she would like it and use it, maybe even on her desk at work, I don't know. Some of these are going down real well. I like Pretty Neat Creative Kits because, as I said before, they really lock together. I don't have any problem with these drills. They're rich in color. I only find a few that are stuck together or with little holes in them, or are just shells, meaning the back is all carved out like it's just a piece of shell, basically. I don't find enough of them to worry about it. I always have way too many extra drills, but I'm glad they do that because I'm a klutz and I spill. None of you spill though, right? None of you are klutzy. Like I am. I'm certain. Today we will be continuing with my friend Fear in a little bit. I helped out with the county's victim services unit when we're on call on the phone lines for those who call in a crisis with like sexual assault or that kind of thing. We can meet people at the hospital. We took a lot of training for that. And this coming Sunday I'm actually preaching at not my home church. I'm filling in for a friend who will be, well, he actually works with two churches, and he will be at a congregational meeting with one, and while I will be preaching at his other church. And I'm glad to do it. He's a good friend of mine. So that, let's see, what else? So anyway, in church yesterday when we were deciding about whether to sell an additional piece of property or to see what happens with the one we already have up for sale, we decided that we have a mission team that's, oh man, come on now. I'm going to have to fix this for you so it doesn't keep doing this. Hang on, let me get this fixed up. Okay, Now I'm going to see if this works for us. It'll work better for me as I'm sitting here to actually reach the spots without reaching too far across the table. Maybe you'll be able to see better. I hope you haven't quit watching by this time. Okay, so back to what the church is doing. And I'm sorry if talking about what my church is doing is boring. I'm hoping that you'll just skip to the next video. I won't be talking about it all the time. But I do hope that we can figure out ways of really being in ministry in the years, many years to come, as we figure out in this post-pandemic age how to be church, how to be church, not just do church, how to experience God, not just talk about God. So, and I'm, got a crafty creative flair, so, and I've written a co-written a book and led retreats with a friend of mine on the topic of creativity, art and prayer together. And by art, I mean not in the sense that there has to be a discernible product from it, but that just the act of playing gets you closer to God. It invites the Spirit in. It keeps your hands busy at the same time your spirit is communicating with God. And I think prayer is more about listening than it is about speaking all the time. Because God knows what's on our hearts and minds. It's us who don't know what's on God's heart and mind. And it's us who have to, oops, how did that get there? Who have to take the time to listen. So that's that. So that's what our church is all about. What visions do we have for use of the space, for use of the building, and the sky's the limit. What ministry do we see needs to happen in the community? What can we be a space, allow our space to provide? What's God's vision for us in the future? So this is going to be a long process, I really believe. And hopefully it will be more than just our church members trying to guess what people need. Hopefully through some active prayer and discussions and involvement in the community to hear what the community has to say. Hopefully we can get some answers to that. But anyway, that's that. That's another thing that's going on. I am still on a sort of sabbatical. I am not linked, I'm not yoked to a church at the moment. In other words, I'm not, why did I get sticky here? I'm not pastor at just one church right now. I am between churches and supply preaching here and there right now. And that's just fine with me. I really believe that's what God is helping me to discern what I am to do with my next steps. So anyway, I encourage you to, take some time with Spirit, or, just take some time retreating by yourself and just trying to see if you can hear what the world wants. If you can hear where the world's heart breaks, to help determine, what we can be about, how we can be helping the world. It's said that where the world's heart breaks and our greatest passion and desire meet up, that's where our mission field is. Oh, come on, you. It would help if I had a... So, we need to be in time of discernment and prayer. And believe me, a little bit of fasting wouldn't hurt my frame either. Provide a little bit of physical health with this spiritual health going on there. I'm into that season of discernment myself, so. Alright, so I talked about the church, I talked about the flea market, I talked about other things coming up. Let's see, what else might you like to hear about from my life? How much more accurate I am putting the diamonds down when I'm wearing decent glasses. Divas, if you're having trouble looking at your paintings afterward and saying, was I drunk when I put those things on? Maybe you need to upgrade your glasses. So, what about you? What are your plans for this summer? Did you take vacation over Memorial Day? Did you do something fun? Oh, since diamond painting is such a new craft, there aren't many people in my area who know much about it. So, my mother suggested that our library, our public library, since things are becoming open now, has display cases where anybody can put a collection of things up and some information about that collection, or, you know, showcase certain things. And she suggested I sign up to maybe teach a class and put some of these in a display case so that the craft gets some love in the library. Adults really like to attend adult classes. Our school system offers them too during the school year. So I'm thinking I might ignore that. I'm thinking I might offer some kind of classes in the fall. Maybe that will help people get into the craft. I really believe in it so much, and you know why. Because it helps relieve anxiety and gives your hands something to do while your brain is thinking about other things, and builds a sense of community between people. And good things can happen when good people get together. So that's what I am hoping to share. Not so much the technique of it isn't so hard, but there are tricks and tips to getting things. And you can look all over the internet now, that the YouTube, that people are really starting to put up some good content. Diamond painting companies themselves are starting to put out some good content. They have blog pages, Facebook pages, and things that they're starting to put tips and ideas up that have really been helpful. If you have any specific comments or want to know how I do something, I would be glad to create a video on it. Just ask in the comments. Just, you know, maybe even just write in the comments the word following. Especially if you know, how many of my videos have you watched so far? And if you watch more than one, I know how to get into the analytics, but I'd like to know from you what you liked and what you don't like about my videos. I am willing to change and learn. Okay, so, as I hope you are still with me, let's get to our book on being fearless and how we can make friends with our fear. Let me get these Z's done, and I will read. We'll switch colors and we'll chat. If the trucks don't take away all my bandwidth here. Alright. The 25 away. I have something coming that can take a few trays at once. So I'm waiting for that to come in. Maybe I'll do a few at a time. Alright, we left off on pages 26 and 27 and saying that fear is always beside us, but it doesn't keep us from freedom. It leads us to it, slowly moving us toward magic. How does that do that, specifically? Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Roald Dahl, he is a famous children's poet. Okay. Where does fear begin? That's a good question. That's chapter 2 now we're on. And I want to see if, I'm hoping that this is the same place here. She has a home here that says understanding and love, acceptance, community, and freedom. And I'll read page 31. We are born fearless. We are born free. As we grow older, our affinity for curiosity dampens in favor of security, the ability to feel safe and cared for. Though each person's life and environment is varied, there are a few permanent stones to offer security: acceptance, understanding, community, love, and freedom. When we don't have these stones in place, or when one of them is endangered, fear leaps in to fill the vacancy. It replaces the feeling of safety with anxiety. Our minds are uneasy, filled with confusion, and we don't know what to do next. Where do we go from here? And indeed, that's a question we are all asking right now. We've been through the fear of the pandemic, and that was a fear of freedom, of not having freedom, a fear due to loss of community, a fear because we didn't understand what was going on. So if we're talking strictly from a pandemic sense, several of those work for us. I do get confused when I'm anxious, when I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going next or what I need to be saying. I get anxious before I preach. Anxious a little bit that I'll be able to speak clearly, that basically I pray that what I have to say comes from God and touches somebody and get me out of the way enough for the words to do that. You know, I want to be relevant and real and helpful. I don't want to be confusing and unintelligible. Now, others are better at lining them up than I am, but basically I jiggle them around and try to get them to shuffle down very gently. Okay, they're pretty good. Some sticky stuff on my tray here. Okay, no out-of-line drills, please. Alright, so start filling in the blanks here. So, being afraid of being without love. Oh my gosh. We're all afraid to be lonely. We're all afraid that we'll spend our life alone and unloved. I mean, that is one thing that's common with absolutely everybody. Actually, all of those are, but love is the biggest one, isn't it? We're afraid that if we wonder if we're engaged to the right person, will we ever find true love? Will we ever find real love? Will this person love me for a long time and forever? Or do I have to settle because I don't think I'm lovable enough to be loved by someone else whom I might really want? Now, I love my husband. Don't get me wrong. He and I were high school sweethearts. But there's always some of that wonder. Did I fall in love? Because maybe it was the first true, wonderful love I felt come along. I like oh, here it is. You know what? This is not sitting down right because this is tab. Oh! Yep, there it is, folks. That's how I screw things up and get them everywhere. I had them so nicely lined up. I see a problem, I go to act on it, and it goes everywhere. Distracted. Distracted by diamonds is for sure a reality. Get them back in. Oh, gotta see if you're still on. Okay, I'll cut that part out if I need to, or I'll just let you see the goofiness that is me. Okay. Yeah, that's alright now. Okay. Alright, so wondering if we'll ever have found a lifetime of love. Oh, jeez, I bump it again. I apologize. Okay, let's just keep continuing on here. Yeah. I think that's the biggest one in all our lives. If we feel loved, we can take just about anything, can't we? We feel secure, we feel accepted, we feel we have at least another person in our community who loves and understands us. And I think sometimes loneliness is what draws people to religion, because we believe, continue to believe, that God, Spirit, Jesus, the Great Spirit, whomever, whatever name you attach to God, we say that God is always with us, and I truly, truly believe God is, Spirit is. My preferred way of speaking about God is Spirit. Oh my gosh, there's so much to say on that topic, but that's for another time, I guess. The thing is that we all want to be loved and held and accepted and understood. And a lot of our lives are taken up with making sure that need is met. In the beginning, that's what family serves. At least that's what it's supposed to serve, right? it's supposed to be that way. Not all of us, you know, we're blessed with a wonderful family. I have to say that I was. You know, we have our foibles, but, you know, I'm going to run it this way I can see it better, running up and down better. There. We all have our challenges. We are never perfect people. And as long as families are populated by imperfect people, and religions are populated by imperfect people, and politics are populated by imperfect people, it will continue to be an imperfect institution. Families are not going to be perfect. We're all, you know, we don't get an owner's manual. We just have to do the best we can, and hopefully we have parents and siblings who are doing the best that they can with and for us. I not only, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn or whatever, but I was very blessed by the family that God gave me, or that I chose, depending on your outlook on life. I was blessed by the in-laws that God chose for me, or that we chose for each other. I have a wonderful, you know, supportive aunt and uncle. My uncle now has Parkinson's, and he's had some trouble. He's out of the hospital right now, fortunately, and he's at home and has some visiting nurses come taking care of him and my aunt. And they'll both be 90 fairly soon. My mom be in her 80s soon. Let's see. And they're all family, and I really think, you know, you may not agree with every person in your family. You may not even get along with every person in your family. We do stupid things when we're young that we need to ask forgiveness for, of our siblings or our parents or our offspring or whatever, when they're adults. I mean, we just realize that we are imperfect people, and we have to keep mending that relationship. So then you choose a life partner. And I'm not a holier-than-thou type of person who thinks that there is only one right person for everyone. And I won't even say one right gender for every one person. You know, there's a lot of that being discussed now, and I support a person's right to choose whom they love. And I just want it to be a mutual relationship, a mutually warm and supportive, loving relationship. I've married many couples, and I haven't had the pleasure of marrying a same-sex couple. Okay, some of you are going to be booing me right now. Some of you are going to be cheering me right now for my stance. Not that I haven't been open to it. I have been open to it. And I've had some wonderful couples in my congregations that I've been very close to. So there's that. But you know, there have been Christian heterosexual marriages that have been awful, and that I believe should not have come about. And I believe that's partly because of our insecurities, our worrying about love. We picked the wrong person because we're more afraid of being unloved than we are afraid of what this person does to us, how this person makes us feel. That, I believe, is the bigger tragedy. You know, if you're getting married because out of being in love with love, then don't. You know, there's that old adage that there are many fish in the sea, and I do believe that. I didn't used to, but I've seen remarriages and people find love later in life, or after being widowed, find love again. Sometimes you make the same mistakes in picking a spouse, and sometimes you learn from your past and decide, you know what, I'm going to love the one I'm with while I'm with them, and be the best person I can be in that relationship. But I am not going to choose out of fear of being alone anymore. You make your own community. There was a gal that went to my church, and she was a teenager at the time, and was in some of my Sunday school classes and in confirmation and stuff together, a little bit younger than me. And for some reason, she knew she needed God to stay in her life, and her parents. She was in a situation where her parents didn't go to church. I'm not going to describe any more of her situation than that. Nobody's business but hers. So as a kid, she would walk to church or catch a ride in bad weather. She would make the arrangements to do that. This is not one of the churches that I served previously, so if you're from one of those churches, don't think you know who the person is. You don't. But she was in church every single week. And enjoyed it, and still to this day, as an adult, is a churchgoer. Because she found a community, another word we're talking about, she found a community, her own community, who she's attached herself to, and we are attached to her. We are blessed by her presence. And she's blessed the church back. So, you know, when you are insecure in your environment, insecure with your relationships, thinking you are in a relationship just because you don't want to be out of one, you got to get in on it with God, and oh, there's a bad one. And ask God to show you or to help you create the community that you need around you. It will happen if you are open for it to happen. Please don't be afraid. So, there you go. You know, the one thing that the angels say the most of in the gospel is do not be afraid. 365 times if you use the New Revised Standard Version. Do not be afraid. Or some semblance thereof. If we go around letting fear guide us, we miss the wonder and the joy in life. Now, I guess I told you that my father had, for a time, he had agoraphobia. And he would be afraid to go out of the house. Afraid to leave the driveway. And I saw how debilitating that was, how limiting that was. We couldn't go camping. He couldn't hold down a job. He needed to find a job that he could do from home. The burden that I put on my mother having to do, be chief cook and bottle washer and bring home the bacon at the same time. All of that. I mean, even though my parents tried hard to keep us kids out of it, and they did a wonderful job doing that, I still saw how it affected my family. And I vowed when I was young that I wasn't going to let fear control me like that. I wasn't going to let fear sap my life of joy and wonder and the promise that what it could be. Now, I am not foolhardy. I do my homework. I try to find the safest situation I can before I go into it, for many reasons of self-preservation, because of other experiences. But, I have to be comfortable with the situation. But at the same time, if I have a little anxiety or a little agita, I try my hardest not to let it attach itself to me and ruin what could be a wonderful experience. So that's why I'm doing the flea market too. Another reason is because it makes me a little anxious. The way you grow, I'm going to do this symbol next, I think. The way you grow is to keep choosing the next step that gives you just a little bit of anxiety. I don't think God wants us to be stagnant. The Dead Sea is dead because everything flows into it and nothing flows out of it. And you have to keep giving yourself away. The wonderful things that you're given, you have to share. And if you're too bottled up and anxious to share, well, then you become stagnant. And you don't become the person that God wants you to be, that God created you to be. And yes, I'm spilling all this stuff. Here. Alright, off my soapbox for a little bit. What else is in this fear thing that we can talk about? We talked about understanding and love and a community and acceptance. Freedom. I'm not sure where freedom comes in, but maybe it means the freedom to move around, the freedom to do what we feel we're called to do. Some in, I think I needed the little container. Don't use the little container much because the ridges aren't high enough to keep the drills under control, I think. If you're using squares and you want them to line up perfectly, they don't. Oh, and this is a cool trick if you haven't seen it yet. You know the squishies that are on pens? That come on and off pens? Well, if you cut one of those rings off at the ridge and stick it in the end of your little funnel, it keeps all your drills in place while you're shaking them around. You can easily take it off to then pour them. Ooh, there's a really bad drill. Bye-bye. It's miscolored. Okay, I need more sticky on my on my pen. A little more sticky. So, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know if you feel I'm too preachy. I can handle that. If you feel that I shouldn't talk about religion, but hey, you know what? It's me. I am unapologetically me. I know my thoughts don't line up with everyone's, but I try to act from love as my guiding principle, creative love. So, I hope I'm familiar enough with this platform that I can be myself now. I haven't been chatting for over an hour. It's easy for me to do some days. Okay. I will be away tomorrow, which is the actual Tuesday. I am going upstate, uptown. It takes like an hour and a quarter to get there. To the cemetery, the family cemetery, one of my husband's sides of the family. We are situating a plot for my brother-in-law who passed in November. Not from COVID, but mainly from him not taking care of himself very well. He did not heed the doctor's warnings. He was a free spirit, for sure. So we're going up to plan my brother-in-law's interment. I will be doing the service for him in 2 weeks, 3 weekends, something like that, 26th. And after that, we have to plan a time to go to Arizona to bless my mother-in-law's grave. She passed in February, so my husband and I have had 2 major deaths in the family, as many of you have had during this time, and we've been blessed that it wasn't worse. And I really wish there could have been some way to alleviate the grief and suffering that so many of you have had to feel. Maybe we'll do a talk on grief, and it's how it affects us, because that can really ramp up our anxieties as well. I did the heart, correct? Yeah, that's 16. Doing the heart. Color 16. See any hearts that I'm missing? I thought there were more than one. Don't have to come back and get it. If I missed it, there's a star. It's the only heart, right? Oh, there's an X. Now, why didn't you tell me I missed that X? I need you to tell me. Ah, thank you. Right under there. Thank you for pointing it out to me. I'll go back and pick up that X that I missed before moving on. Which color should I do next after this? I will finish the rest of this patch on my own. As soon as I go back to that other one. Was that 22? Numero 22. Oh, it was an X, not that one. It was 19. Yeah, 19. Just one little bugger here. Ooh, and this bag was not closed very well, so that would have spilled right away. Oops, there we go. I only need one, thank you. Just to show you what I'm doing off camera, if I can. I've got this box from the dollar store. It has 3 dividers in it, 4 sections, and the baggies are a little bit bigger than it, but I have them in numerical order in here. It's easier for me to find that way. And I am replacing 2 of the colors that they have in here, a yellow and the black, with sparklers. So, I haven't found a pretty cream yet to do the other ones with. Okay, so what's the next I see a lot of? The C? Yeah, letter C I see a lot of, so let's check that. Letter C is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 3. There's a 4. One thing when I have these magnifiers in, it's like I have to keep readjusting where I'm looking. It becomes blurry. Alright, so I guess it's enough for today. Blessings on your week this week. Let me know in the comments below. Either write the word following and or maybe how many videos that you've watched so far. We've gained a few more subscribers this past weekend. I hope that we gain a number more. Not so that I can say my numbers are up. I'm doing something that some people get something out of it from. So anyway, have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and God bless you with lots of love and peace to replace your fear and anxiety. Have a good week. Bye.